Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. In today's video, we're doing my Contender tier list. I got a tier list. I'm going to be putting all playoff / play-in teams in that tier list based on how much I think they are of a contender in the NBA playoffs. I'm very excited to do this. And so yeah, let's get into it. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining it. You can go back and watch that. Links to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So here we are. We have the tier list here. So I'm going to explain the tiers first, and then we'll get into the teams. So first, champ favorites. These are the teams I think are the true contenders, top tier contenders in the NBA, that they're kind of the favorites or most likely to win a championship. Next, you have the not favorite but could. These are the teams that aren't maybe the favorites to win the championship, but I definitely can see being in that second tier of, it could happen. I definitely could see a world where it could happen. Next one is in a perfect world. These are teams that probably are not favored to win a championship, but they have pieces that maybe, if things go right, if injury happens or if something goes right, they maybe could be there, but most likely not. Again, maybe a series win, which is a team that's probably not going to go that far, but maybe can make it out of the first round, make things a little bit competitive. And then we have the no chances tier, that teams that are probably not doing much, probably out of the first round if they even win the play-in. Teams like that. All right, so we'll start. We got all 20 teams here. Start with the Atlanta Hawks. We'll make this easy. No chance. Yeah, they're the 10th seed in the East right now. They pretty much suck, and it'll honestly be, a success for them if they do make the playoffs. Because right now they're a few games under 500. Yeah, they're not good. We'll make another easy one. Boston Celtics. Put them in championship favorites. Obviously they are, at least to me. I think to everybody, they should be the favorites to win the NBA championship. They're going to finish with the best record in the NBA by far. They're at 62 wins. They're probably going to win about 64, maybe 65 games this season. And they have the best team. They're the favorites. Honestly, if they don't make the finals, it's going to be a disappointing season. It's getting to a point where it's like, if they don't even make the finals, or don't even make like a competitive run in the championship or anything, it'll be a waste of a season. Dang near. They have the talent. They have Tatum. They have Brown. Porzingis is playing well. Drew Holiday, Derek White. The bench is playing good. They have everything that you'd want in a contending team, in a championship favorite team. They are the champ favorites. Bulls, no chance. We're making it easy. They're battling with the Hawks for the 9th seed in the play-in. Again, they'll be lucky to get into the playoffs. But if they do get in the playoffs, they're not doing much. Next to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a team that has been talked about a lot, especially recently. They've lost a couple games in a row. They have not been playing good basketball recently. They were a top 3 seed in the East and now fallen down to 5. They are not playing that great. And honestly, they've fallen. Honestly, if we would have did this like a month ago, I probably would have put them in a perfect world. But to be honest, the way they're playing right now, they might go down to maybe a series win. Like, there's a real possibility they don't make it out of the first round. Like, especially right now, if the season were to end today and the playoffs start tomorrow, they would play the Knicks. And I'm not very confident that the Cavs can beat the Knicks in a 7-game series right now. Like, they're most likely going to have to face either the Knicks or the Magic, which, if they get the Magic, I'll feel better, obviously, than the Knicks. But that's a tough series in itself. Even if they face the Indiana Pacers, like, they have an elite defense. It hasn't been as great recently. But the Pacers, again, their offense is just crazy. Like, I don't really... A lot of people don't have confidence in this Cavs team. I'm kind of not really feeling super confident in this team right now. The way they're ending the season off. Maybe they can win a game or two at the end of the year. Maybe get some fire back. Donovan Mitchell just came back. They have been dealing with injuries the entirety of the year. So maybe they can click it together at some point. But right now, I'll put them in maybe a series win. Denver Nuggets, they're also going in the championship favorite tier. I honestly feel like I think these are probably going to be the only 2 teams that are going to be in this tier, the champ favorites. They're the reigning champs, and so far they've been playing good. They're tied for the number 1 seed in the West. They've been amazing since coming back from All-Star break. Nikola Jokic is on a good path to win his 3rd MVP in 4 years. They're still, you look at starting fives, you make a good argument that they're the best starting 5 in basketball. I mean, when they that five of Jokic, Murray, KCP, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. on the court, not that many teams are beating them, especially at home, which is why they're really going for the number one seed because they know if they can get home court advantage throughout the entirety of the Western Conference or anything like that, they have a really good chance because you're not really beating them at home. They have, again, amazing starting five, coach. Really, the only thing they don't really have is the bench depth that they usually do. But even then, their bench has been better as of recently. And when you're in the playoffs, you're only going to play 6 or 7 men really out there. So Jokic, Murray, and them are going to play 44, 45 minutes if they need to. So Denver Nuggets right now should be the second behind the Boston Celtics in terms of championship favorites. Next, we have the Dallas Mavericks. They're a very interesting team in this tier as well. They've been playing really good basketball since coming back from All-Star break. They've been a little streaky, but right now they're on a good streak. Luka Doncic might win his first MVP this year. Kyrie Irving is playing at elite level. The role players that they're playing are really nice. Daniel Gafford is playing really good. PJ Washington is starting to wake up at the right time. They got Dante Exum hitting big shots for them. They have so many things going on with them. And when you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on a team, we've seen it recently. It's unfair, dang near, to have those two on a team. Especially in a playoff 7-game series, you have to worry about guarding Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, who both can go get 40 if they really want to. And can both win you a game, basically by themselves. Add in if you have Tim Hardaway Jr. hits 4 threes, or PJ Washington hits 4 threes, or Dale Gafford has 20 points, or shoots 7 for 7. Good luck with that. So they're either going to be a not favorite or in a perfect world. Because right now they play the Clippers in the first round, which the Clippers have been not amazing recently, and we still don't know the health of Kawhi Leonard or anything like that. The Mavericks are very interesting. Honestly, they have a real case of going in not favorite, but could. I think they're more likely to be to put them in a perfect world. But I mean, at the Western Conference right now, I think Denver's my top Western Conference team in terms of contention and stuff. After that, the Mavericks have a good shot. I would consider the Clippers. I'd consider Minnesota. Consider OKC. But the Mavericks, man, they have the team. If things go right, they could do it. I'm trying to compare them to all the other teams. I'm saying who would I take as who would I feel better with in a long-term playoff run between the Mavericks and between a lot of these other teams. And honestly, I'm picking the Mavs over a lot of these teams. I'm picking Dallas over a lot of these teams. So I'm gonna put them. I'm putting them in not favorite but could. I might come back and change that later, depending on how I feel with the other teams. But for right now, I'm putting them in not favorite but could. Next, got the Warriors. This one is interesting. They're going either between no chance and maybe a series win. It's just tough for the Warriors because, they have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. They've won 4 championships. So you can't really take that away from them. But it has not been good this year. They have been playing a lot better since coming back from All-Star break, which is a good sign. But it's really tough to put them in no chance considering what their history is and how they play, and especially how they've been playing recently. But they're probably going to be the 10 seed. They're going to have to win 2 games against right now they'd have to play the Kings, which they had to beat the Kings, and then they'll have to play a game against either the Pelicans or Lakers. Those are already 2 really hard games, and then you have to go in a playoff series and face the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Denver Nuggets. That's hard. That is really, really hard for the Warriors to do. I think if any team could do it, the Warriors have a good shot at it because of their history and who they have. But I might have to put them in. I don't feel comfortable putting the Warriors in no chance. It feels wrong. But I gotta be real. I gotta be honest, and I gotta look at it through the entirety of this season and what we've seen. And I just don't think the Warriors really have a chance. Could they make the playoffs and win those 2 playing games? Absolutely. But am I really gonna pick them over Minnesota or over Denver? No. So I kind of have to put them in no chance. The Indiana Pacers. They're a team that, honestly, if you would have talked to me a couple weeks ago, I probably would have put them in no chance as well. I thought they would make the playoffs, but I don't think they could have win a series. Right now, they'd play the Orlando Magic in the first round. And that's a very interesting series in terms of elite offense and elite defense. Indiana is one of the best offenses. Orlando is one of the best defenses. So that would be a very interesting battle that Indiana could win. The Cavaliers, again, have been struggling. If they face off against each other, I think the Pacers have a good shot in that series. I don't know about Milwaukee or New York. If they play against them, I think I would take the other team over Indiana. But if Indiana face off against Cleveland or Orlando, I think they have a shot. But mm, realistically, I don't know. Their defense is not that good enough. Tyrese Halliburton, unfortunately, has just not been as good recently. They do have Pascal playing really good, and they have, again, the offensive firepower where they can't have a game or two where they just hit 19 threes and they score 130 points randomly and they win a game or two and make it interesting, obviously. But can I trust them to get the stops? Can I trust them to consistently play at that level through the entirety of a 7 game stretch where defense can lock in on them, especially if they go up against Orlando, which is one of the best defenses in the NBA? I don't really know. So I'm gonna put them because I'm thinking about them against the Warriors. Do I think the Pacers are more of a contending team than the Warriors? I don't think so. So I'm gonna put them in no chance. Unfortunately, I'm gonna put them in no chance. Next, the Clippers. The Clippers, they have not been great since coming back from all since February. They have not been great. They've been very up and down. Their defense has taken a nosedive. I mean, they gave up 80 points to the Cavaliers in the first half yesterday. They did win that game because of Paul George, but like their defense has not been good. Their effort and the intensity level is just not there. Kawhi Leonard has missed a couple games. He has knee inflammation. We know what Kawhi Leonard's injury is past. You know, that's not a great thing to happen right now. They still have the talent to, of course, win, but of course, obviously, they need Kawhi Leonard, especially in the playoffs. They need Kawhi Leonard, and I don't know if they can just turn it back on right away in the playoffs. Like you need a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs and kind of having a good morale going into the playoffs. Now they have won 3 games in a row. Has it been the greatest 3 games? No, but they've won them. If does the team look as good as it did in January and December? Absolutely not. But they still have the talent, you know. And really, kind of a lot depends on Kawhi Leonard, especially if they face four. If they finish four and face off against the Dallas Mavericks in the first round, that's a really tough first round series. Like honestly, for the Clippers, that's like I think the worst, one of the worst series they can go again. They can play in the first round, Like if it was Phoenix or something like that, I would have been like, okay. But against Dallas, especially the way Dallas is playing right now, man. So I'm gonna put them. I mean, I think they still have the talent, and we still have to respect them enough to put them in not favorite but could. But it's gonna be really tough, especially if Kawhi isn't fully 100% going into the playoff time and they can't turn it on like that, you know. LA Lakers are next. They've been playing a great basketball recently. They were eighth. They dropped down to ninth because of a loss, but they have potential to maybe get to that 7 and 8 spot. But it's really a dogfight down there below in the Western Conference. They've been playing really good. I think they're 21-9 since the start of February. They've been amazing. LeBron, AD are playing really good. D'Angelo Russell's playing good. Their offense has been amazing. They've been one of the best offenses in the league since February, since they kind of changed their style of play in terms of more offense. Has sacrificed their defense, but they can still lock in and get some stops. I believe in them a lot more than I do believe in the Warriors. I'll say that. We saw them last year go from a playing team to the conference finals. Depending on what matchups, like if they face Minnesota in the first round, that's a tough matchup for Minnesota. Like Lakers can do that. If they face OKC in the first round, that's a tough series, especially if Shea's not 100% going in. The Nuggets, we've seen what the Nuggets done to the Lakers recently. I kind of want to put the Lakers in maybe a series win, but I don't know. Thinking about it realistically, can I see them winning a series? Yeah, I'll put them in maybe a series win because maybe a series win doesn't mean they're gonna go to the second round. It just means they have a chance in the first round that they could win. You know what? So that means I probably have to put Indiana, I think, in here as well then, because I said Indiana can win a series potentially or have a chance in a series. So I'm kind of hypocriting myself by saying Indiana's not in this. So Indiana's in that tier as well. So yeah, I'll put the Lakers in this tier. Maybe a series win. They could take out Minnesota or OKC potentially. Is it likely? Not really, but I think they could do it. I believe in them a lot more than I believe in the Warriors facing off against that team. Miami Heat. This is an interesting one. We know what the Heat do every year. Regular season, we don't care about them. They always are injured. They're bad. They end up as a playing team. Then all of a sudden they get to the playoffs and they turn into uh, a 70-win team. They just do that. You know, and so they're one of the most like kind of like polarizing teams. I feel like in the league, like because I mean when it comes to playoff time, they do it. When it comes to playoff, their game is built for the playoffs. Kind of the gritty, half court, not make mistakes style offense. They're built for the playoffs. It's just how much do we believe in this team to have to go being having to win a playing game and then having to face off against a Boston Celtics or Milwaukee Bucks team in the first round again, and having to win another series like that again and go on a Cinderella run dang near again. Like that's not really that you know like it happened last year, but can we really bank on it going happening 2 times in a row? I don't think we can. Like I don't want to freaking I don't I like the Miami Heat, but it's just I don't want to believe in this team. I don't want to put false hope now in this team that's saying they can do it again. Because I think there's a real world they come out and lose to Boston in 4 and 5. Like it's just I don't really know where to put this Heat team. I don't know. Can I put them? They're between no chance and maybe a series win because again they still have that factor of they could potentially pull it off again if they face. I think if they face Milwaukee in the first round, they have a chance. They have a solid chance in that series. I wouldn't pick. I wouldn't pick them. I wouldn't say it would happen, but I think they have a decent chance, especially against if they face Boston. I don't think they're winning that series, but against Milwaukee, they have a chance. They did it last year. Maybe they can do it again. Who knows? But I'm gonna put them in the. I'm putting them in no chance. I'm sorry. I don't. I just can't. I can't do it again. There's something in me that's saying no. I can't do it again. I just don't. This Heat, the offense is bad. Tyler Hero's back. They do have Terry Rozier, who is starting to play better. Duncan Robinson is having a really good year. We know what happens when Jimmy gets to the playoffs. We know what happens there. Bam has been solid, but if they're gonna have to, they're most likely there's a really good chance they have to go through the play-in again. They'd have to play the 76ers in the first playing game with Joel back, which is a very tough game. They just lost to them the other day. You know, so let's say they lose. If they win that game, they face Milwaukee in the first round. If they face Milwaukee, they could definitely take a game or two off of Milwaukee. Absolutely, I think they can. Can they win that series? Even though the Bucks have not been playing good, I don't feel comfortable picking Miami over Milwaukee in that series. Let's say they lose that game, they win the AC game against the Bulls or whatever. They face Boston in the first round. That's a 5 game series for me personally. You know, so I just don't see it unless they maybe jump off the 6 and they face a Cleveland team, or if they face Orlando, then we're talking. Then we can talk a little bit more about that. But I just don't. I don't know. I just can't. I don't think I could put my trust in this Miami Heat team, so I'm putting them in no chance to me. Minnesota, I think they go in a perfect world. You know, I definitely think they can win a first round series, maybe even a second round series. I think they're definitely a team that they have to have a perfect world kind of scenario. I wouldn't pick them over Denver. If they face Dallas, that's a tough series. I might go with Dallas in that. If they face the Clippers, I would go lean towards the Clippers. But if they do win that series, if they do win the Dallas or Clipper series, I don't think it would be super, like, oh my god, I'm shocked type of thing, you know? Like, Minnesota has the recipe to beat those teams. They're the best defense in the league. If Anthony Towns, there's reports say that Anthony Towns might be back. So if Anthony Towns is back, that's an all-star right there that you're bringing back to the team. Anthony Edwards is playing at a great level. I like the role players they have. Mike Conley, Jaden McDaniels is an amazing defender. Nikhil Alexander Walker's been really good. They have Nasir Reed who can come in and hit, score 18 off the bench in a playoff game. Kyle Anderson is a veteran guy. So, they have the roster and the talent and the recipe to do it. But I think most likely they're probably going to be a lose in the second round type of team for me personally. So that's why I'm putting it in a perfect world. Because in a perfect world, let's say they face off against, right now they probably play they play the AC. So let's say they play the Lakers in the first round. They can win that series, absolutely. The Lakers have a chance, but I think they can win that series. Go to the second round. They face off against whoever wins that Clippers-Mavericks series. That's a battle, but I think they have a chance in that series, especially with their defense and with Anthony Edwards. You know, like they have a chance. They have a recipe to maybe go far. It's just I wouldn't pick them as a favorite over a couple of these teams. So that's why I think in a perfect world, I think fits them. The Bucks. The Bucks have not been playing good basketball recently. They've lost 4 in a row, including 3 horrible losses to Washington, Memphis, and Toronto back to back to back. Those are disgusting losses. I don't even care if they have one of their guys missing. Those are disgusting losses. And then they lose to the Knicks with Jalen Brunson dropping 43 on them. They're not going to championship favorites, even though before the year they were one of my favorites to win it. I think they were everybody's favorites, or one of everyone's favorites to win it. That's not been the case. With Doc Rivers there, I think a below 500 team. Their defense has been better, but not there. Their offense has been kind of eh. Giannis is having an amazing season. Damian Lillard has still not been the Damian Lillard we expected. Chris Middleton is still can't really find it. Brook Lopez is having a really bad year. You know, besides Bobby Portis, they don't really have anything else going. Malik Beasley can hit a couple threes, but but at the end of the day, they still have Giannis and Dame. And if you have Giannis and Dame, you could still win games, especially in the first, second round. It's really once we get to like the conference finals, if they have to face like the Celtics or maybe even the Knicks, like that would be a struggle. But after that, I think Cleveland, I think if they face Orlando, Indiana, Miami, like I think Milwaukee gets that. You know, it's just really about, do I trust them over Boston? No. Do I even trust them over New York? By a little bit. You know, that's only because they have the better players in Giannis and Dame. I'm going to put them in not favor but could, because I think there's definitely a world where they can win a championship because they have the talent. They have Giannis. They have Damian Lillard. You know, they have the talent and the recipes and the success to do it. It's just, I wouldn't put them as favorites, but I'll put them in not favor but could. Pelicans, I'm going to put them in, because they were playing really well, but then they've lost a couple games in a row. They did get a big win over the Suns the other day. They've fallen back into the play-in, which is kind of disappointing for me, at least. You know, I thought they were for sure locked into a top 6 spot, for me at least, and then they went on a 4-game losing streak after losing Brandon Ingram. For the Pelicans, I would put them in maybe a series win. I think they could definitely, if they face a Thunder team or anything, they can make it a series against anybody they play, because they have Zion is playing really well right now. CJ McCollum's been on a heater. If Brandon Ingram is back, that's big. They have the defenders in Herb Jones. They have Trey Murphy III. Like, they have a good team overall and a recipe to, make a run potentially. But, so they could win. If they face off against a OKC team, I think they have a chance in that series. If they face off against Minnesota, they have a chance. Denver, it'll be really tough. And they could take Denver to a 6-game series, maybe 7, So I think maybe there's a world where they could win a series for me personally, but I wouldn't favor it. So that's how I put it in maybe a series win. The Knicks, I'm going to put them in a perfect world as well. I think if they were fully healthy with Julius Randle, with everybody playing well, I honestly would put them in not favor but could for me. But without Julius Randle, it's tough. Jalen Brunson has been he's been a freaking superstar recently. Dante DiVincenzo's playing really well. Josh Hart's playing really good. OG is back, which is huge for them as well. They still have a really good team, and honestly, still could make a conference finals run, even without Julius Randle. Like, they face a struggling Cleveland team in the first round. I think they can win that series. If they stay 4 or 5, they would have to play Boston in the second round, which is really tough, but they could give Boston a fight. They could give Boston a fight. Would I pick them in that series? No. But I think they can take Boston to 6 or 7, even without Julius Randle. If they do get that 3 seed, then they have to face Milwaukee in the second round. They can give Milwaukee a good fight. They can give Milwaukee a really good fight even without Julius Randle. But I wouldn't favor them. So that's why I put it in a perfect world, because they could make a second round appearance, maybe a conference finals appearance. But I feel like to make it that far run of a conference finals or NBA finals, things would have to go their way, or things would have to go well. They need a little bit of, luck, which every team, of course, to win a championship, you need luck. You need luck to win a championship, but they would need more. So I'll put them in a perfect world. OKC, they're in the between of not favorite and perfect world. Um, Shea has not been able to play a couple of last games, so is Jalen Williams. I don't think they're going to be huge injuries. I don't think they're going to miss playoff games or anything like that. But I just don't know how 100% they're going to be. They have been one of the best teams the entirety of the year. Even if they're one of the youngest teams in the NBA, they have been amazing. I mean, they're going to finish in the top three in the Western Conference. They're a battle for a number one seed. You know, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a real name in the MVP conversation. Like, they have an amazing team overall, you know, and we kind of have to respect them even if they don't have the kind of the experience as a Denver or a Dallas or the Clippers or anything like that. We still have to respect them in terms of contending because they actually, if you take out the age, you take out the inexperience, you take out the age and stuff, you look at them with other teams and you would think, yeah, this is a team that could win a championship. This is a team that could go far. You know, it's the only thing that's really holding them back is, you know, they haven't had any players that have been like this before. Like Shea's played a playoff series. You know, Lou Dort's played a playoff series. Gordon Hayward has played in a couple playoffs. Like, but that's pretty much about it. You know, they don't have a lot of experience. So I'm gonna put them in not favorite but could. I'll put the I would I if they played against Minnesota in a series, I think I would take OKC personally. I like this OKC team a lot, especially if Shea's 100% and Jada 100% going into the playoffs. I like this team a lot. I definitely think even though if you're facing the top three, you probably would want to take OKC before taking off against Denver or taking on Minnesota. That's not an easy win at all. Like right now, I think OKC will play Phoenix in the first round. I'm taking OKC in that series. Second round against they'll play probably Minnesota or Denver actually right now. That's tough. I would pick Denver in that series, but you know they'll give a fight. If they play off against Minnesota in the second round, I might even lead towards OKC potentially more than Minnesota. So like OKC, I think they have a definite shot. They're not a favorite, but I definitely think they could do some things. Orlando, I think they're a good team and maybe a series win. They're a young team. There's a real chance they finish with home court advantage in the first round. They honestly are not even that far off of being the number two seed in the East, which is absolutely insane to think about. The Orlando Magic being number two in the Eastern Conference. Do I believe in this team in terms of making a big run? No. You know, do I think they're going to make the conference finals or anything like that? No. But I think as time has gone on, especially the last month, I've grown more and more being like, you know what? If they face off against Cleveland in the first round, I think they can win that series. If they face Indiana in the first round, which is what would happen if the series were to end right now, I might lead towards Orlando in that series. You know, like if they face the Knicks in the first round, I would lean towards the Knicks, but I think the Magic can give them a really good fight. I think that's a 6 or 7 game series. So Orlando has grown a lot on me in terms of contending. I like Orlando the entirety of the year. Even last year, you can go back and watch. I was saying Orlando's gonna have a big year. Do I expect to be top five in the East or anything like that? Absolutely not. But I expected Orlando to be in a playoffs type situation. But like in terms of contending, I was like, yeah, but they're probably losing the first round. But now I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? With the elite defense they have, with Paolo, Franz, they have some things where maybe they can shut down a Cleveland team or shut down an Indiana team and maybe take that series. So I'm going to put them in maybe a series win. These last two are going to be kind of tough. The Suns, they have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. That's about all they have going for them. That's the only way they can win a series is if Kevin Durant and Devin Booker do what they did last year in the playoffs, or Devin Booker was the turn into Michael Jordan basically in the playoffs, and Kevin Durant was Kevin Durant. And if Bradley Beal, he had a really good game against the Pelicans, he had 33. If Bradley Beal maybe can ramp it up a little bit before going into the playoffs, that would be huge for them, obviously. Chris Allen is leading the league in 3-point percentage. So they have that. But after that, they don't have the depth. Their defense, I don't like their defense at all either. And their offense kind of gets a little stagnant sometimes in terms of, I mean, they have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. All three of those guys have averaged 30 points per game at one point in their career. You know, not that long ago. Yet sometimes their offense just kind of, eh. Honestly, I kind of want to put them in no chance just because, like, if they go in a first round matchup, honestly, I'm not taking them over Denver if they play in the first round. I'm not taking them over Minnesota. OKC, it might be a battle, but I'm not really taking them over OKC, to be honest, either. If they face against the Clippers, I'm taking the Clippers. If they face Mavs, I'm taking the Mavs. Like, honestly, I'm taking all of those teams over the Suns. Honestly, if the Suns and Pelicans were to face off, I would take the Pelicans. I would. I believe in the Pelicans more than I believe in the Suns. You know, I believe in the Lakers more than I believe in the Suns. To be completely honest with you, I believe if you gave me Lakers and Timberwolves or Suns and Timberwolves and say which one do you think can, which one would you believe in more? I'm putting my money in the Lakers over the Suns. Personally, for me, I just don't see it with the Suns team. So I'm gonna put them in no chance. It might look crazy because again they have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. All three of those guys can average 30 points per game and win a series, and I could look stupid. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't believe in the Suns team at all. The 76ers. This is a very interesting one. Joel Embiid is back. They are 5-0. They won 5 in a row. They have been amazing with Joel back. They got some good wins. Joel looks like he's playing really good. He still needs his lungs in under him and get his wind back and his cardio and stuff like that. But offensive, like on the court wise, he looks really good. Tyrese Maxey's playing amazing basketball right now. Kelly Oubre is playing good at the right time. So the Sixers are looking like a good team. And with Joel Embiid, you don't forget, when Joel Embiid was on this team and healthy, they were a top 3 team in the East, and Joel Embiid was going to win his second MVP in a row. You know, he did miss a lot of time, but he's back, and they look good now. And now you're telling me they have to go off against like a Milwaukee team potentially in the first round, against Orlando in the first round, against Cleveland in the first round. That's a hard series, you know. So I'm going to put the 76ers. I think it's their team, maybe a series win in a perfect world, to be honest. Because I think they definitely can win a first round series. I think they can win a first round series against, if they face off against right now, they have to go to the play-in. If they win that play-in game, they face Milwaukee in the first round. That's a tough series for Milwaukee, personally. Like, I'd probably lean towards Milwaukee just because Joel Embiid just came back, and I don't know how much his lungs and stuff would work in a first round series, especially against a tough team like Milwaukee that has Giannis and Brook Lopez in them. But that's a tough one. Like, Tyrese Maxey's gonna have his way in that series. Like that's a tough. Honestly, but early in the year, I've said this in a video or two. Early back in like December, January, I believed in Philly more than I believed in Milwaukee in terms of contending. Personally, do I still believe in that now? No, but that's only because Joel has missed all this time. You know, I don't know how well Joel, his cardio and how he's gonna be in a playoff series just coming back. You know, that's the only why I'm kind of like not putting my full chips into the 76er team. But if Joel Embiid was fully healthy and he was playing this entire year, I probably would put Philly in not favorite but could. But I don't think I can do that right now. But I'll put them in something, I don't know, I maybe lean towards a little bit of putting them in a perfect world. Because, again, I believed in them in Milwaukee. I believe in them more than I believe in Cleveland. I believe in them more than I believe in Indiana. I believe in them more than I believe in Orlando. Do I believe in them more than I believe in the Knicks? I'll put them in a perfect world because I'm thinking about, do I believe in them or the Knicks? It's like close. It's close for me personally. So I'm going to put them in a perfect world. Sacramento, the final team, I'm going to put them in no chance. I kind of feel the same way like I feel about the Suns. I'm not picking them over any team. Like, if they play Denver in the first round, I'm not picking them. I'm not picking them over Minnesota. I'm not picking them over OKC. I'm not picking them over the Clippers, over the Mavericks. You know, like, even if they face off against the Lakers, I would take the Lakers over the Kings, honestly. Like, I just don't believe in this Kings team as much anymore, especially with Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter out, two guys that potentially could change a series in terms of their shooting and scoring ability. Yeah, and they're not playing well. I can't believe in the Kings that much. But yeah, that's it. I'm okay. I'm okay with my list. Champ favorites, Boston and Denver. I believe in that. Those are the favorites. Not favorite, but could. Dallas, the Clippers, Bucks, OKC. Interesting, I have 3 West teams in there. But hey, the Western Conference is stacked. You know, I believe that. In a perfect world, Minnesota, New York, and Philly. I like that. Maybe a series win. Cleveland, Indiana, Lakers, New Orleans, Orlando. I think that's solid. I think Indiana and New Orleans are kind of could go back and forth in terms of no chance of maybe a series win. You know, depending on this last week, I think they can go back and forth. And honestly, depends on matchups for Indiana and New Orleans. And Orlando, honestly, too. Nah, Indiana and New Orleans, I think, is very matchup based. Like, if Indiana faced off against Cleveland, I would put them in this tier. If they face off against, like, New York, or Milwaukee, I would put them in no chance. New Orleans, too. Like, if they face off against OKC or something, then yeah. If they face off against Denver, no. And same for the no chance teams. Like, for the Heat, if they face off against Cleveland or, Orlando team, I'll put them in maybe a series win. Phoenix, well, I don't know. Phoenix and Sacramento, I don't really believe in that much. But the maybe a series win and no chance, honestly, could go back and forth, really. Like, those two tiers are definitely more matchup based in terms of who they face in the first round. Maybe, But yeah, I'm okay with my list. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.